Cooking Corner.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Cooking Corner with me, Giuseppe CrimiVaroli. Today for you, we're going to be making an easy alternative to pizza by the name of the Pepperoni Pinwheel. It had recently come to my attention that a lot of pizzerias outside of the New York area do not make pepperoni pinwheels, and so many of you may not know what it is. That's what we're going to show you today. Now, in terms of ingredients, you're going to need the following. Of course, you're going to need pepperoni. You're also going to need mozzarella cheese. And you're going to need pizza dough. Our pizza dough was generously donated by Brenny's Pizzeria in downtown Highland. In terms of hardware, you're going to need the following. You're going to need a sharp knife. You're going to need a cutting board. You're going to need a baking sheet. And for that baking sheet, you're going to need some tin foil. Let's talk pizza dough for a second. Now, it's very easy to go to your store and get pizza dough there, but I much prefer to get fresh dough from a local pizzeria, and most pizzerias will just sell you the dough. In addition, you want your dough to be relatively sticky, so you don't want to cover it in flour and oil. You just want to have it sticky. Step number one, as always, is going to be wash your hands. Now, they say nothing kills germs as effective as alcohol, so I've never felt cleaner. Moving on to step number two, and step number two is going to be cut your dough. So, what you're going to need to do is take your full-size pizza dough and cut it into thirds. Each third will then make 2 pinwheels. So, if you have a full pizza dough, you'll have 6 pinwheels. Now, we're going to work the dough 1/3 at a time. So put those other 2 pieces in a safe spot and we'll get back to them. Now that you've selected 1/3 of your dough, it's time to move on to step number 3. And step number 3 is going to be preheat your oven to 450 degrees and stretch your dough into a rectangle. Once you've preheated your oven to 450 degrees, you can go ahead and take the piece of dough you selected and stretch it into a rectangle. So, take your 1/3 of a piece of dough and just start stretching it out in your hand. Press it with your thumb to the edges and stretch it into a rectangle if you can. Put it down on your cutting board, press the corner down, stretch the corner out. It's like putting on a fitted bed sheet. You may find it a lot easier to work the dough on your counter and press the corners down so you're able to stretch it into a big rectangle. Moving on to step number 4. Step number 4 is going to be cut your dough and layer your ingredients. Now, what you're going to want to do is take your knife and cut your dough in half hot dog style, as in lengthwise. So go ahead, find pretty close to the center, and cut up your dough. Disregard that noise. It's just a ghost that haunts my kitchen. You're a very bad ghost. And once you've cut your dough in half once hot dog style, you're going to cut each of those halves in half again, hot dog style. To show you what I mean, you have your 2 halves of dough. You're just going to cut each one lengthwise again up the center. Once you've got your 4 slices of dough, you're going to take 2, like this one here, and this one here, and line them up next to each other. Once you've got this dough serpent, what you're going to do is line it with pepperoni and then sprinkle cheese over top of it. So go ahead and grab some pepperoni and just start laying it on the snake. Once you've got your snake lined with pepperoni, you're going to sprinkle cheese along the entire length, about 2 handfuls. Once you've covered your snake in pepperoni and cheese, you can roll the whole thing up. So, start at one end, pinch it in, and start rolling. Once you've got this one completed, you can go ahead and roll the rest of your dough just the same way. Once your pinwheels are all rolled up, you can get them onto a baking sheet and bake them at 450 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. But you have to watch them to make sure they don't burn. So we checked out pinwheels at 8 minutes, and the extra 2 minutes really makes all the difference. So we left them in for a full 10. But now that 10 minutes is up, let's take these pinwheels out, let them cool down, and move on to the final step. Don't those look delicious? It's time for the final step, which is going to be plating. Now, for the plating step, what you need to do is grab a spatula and just scrape the pinwheels off of the tin foil. And then put them on a plate in a nice arrangement. Once you've done that, if you'd like, you can brush them with olive oil to give them a little gloss. Now it's time for a little taste test. Now that is delicious! And right before we wrap things up tonight, I want to give another big thank you to Brenny's Pizzeria for donating all of the pizza dough. It's a huge help. That concludes this week's episode of Cooking Corner with me, Giuseppe CrimiVaroli. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. I certainly know that I did. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. I'm always putting out new content. If you like this video in particular, drop a like on it so I know to keep up the good work. If you want to see something on the show, leave it in the comments and I will try to make it for you. But until that point, bye-bye now.